Hey guys, this is Waldog, the Holy Vampire. I am at my grandparents' house. Uh, and we had a good dinner. We were we had a really good time. We ate at Longhorns Steak Restaurant. The funny thing is that I went to I've done this like 3 times in the past, where I went to I thought there's another steakhouse down the road. For whatever reason, I've remembered the locations incorrectly. Swapped them in my brain for whatever reason. So I went all the way down, and then I knew I was going to be late for some reason. I just knew it, had the feeling. And then I turned around and went back and rode my scooter. And I didn't sleep last night. Or I overdid it. I worked like 14 hours, something like that, more than that, straight through the night, and just overdid it. And anyways, had a good time. It was a Christmas present. So at one point, I was just thinking about something. Sorry, I was trying to remember if I paid my rent for this month, which I vaguely remember doing. I paid it early. Uh, my brain's kind of fuzzy. I've been, like I said, a lot going on in my life. It was a Christmas dinner, and my sister, who doesn't live with us, she she paid for dinner. It was a present for my family, and I was reminded of that. I asked about her, see how she was doing. Um, there was I was reminded of the Christmas dinner because there was a time where a point that there was a bunch of Christmas hats. I said, Christmas hats? It's January. I'm like, what's going on? And they explained. I was like, oh, okay, okay. They're like, we even got a Christmas hat for you. I said, oh, no, it's all right. Like, yeah, so I worked through the night. I'm not. Like, well, I'll sit this one out. And um, went to the bathroom, and they took a picture and came back, and they took a second picture, and I was wearing the hat, and it was nice. And yeah, so yeah, it was good. It went well. I was super tired. And I didn't feel like. Here's the thing, like, so here's the situation. I'm thinking I'm late. I'm not late. Show up early. I got crazy look in my eye. I'm stressed out. My eyes are teary, and I'm like, I care about my appearance to a point. I'm trying not to make a scene. All right, trying to downplay. I know it's gonna happen. My family, having a good time as they should, and I'm being a alpha male, and I was doing it for them. Uh, uh, the leadership, um, so that they could have a good time without, you know. But the situation was, we were just sitting, at two tables, and my father was there, and it was good, and it was fine. I was sitting across the table from my father. There's my father, me, my grandfather, my grandma, and the other table, stepmom, her daughter, uh, my aunt, and this the daughter's son, and I got to talk to my dad about some things. You know, I was explaining kind of how I was feeling, saying I, overdid it, talking to the table and everyone listening at the table. But as I was there, very, very tired. My alpha leadership, my alpha side of me is very tired. Uh, and But I still had enough strength in me to, you know, get the job done, so to speak. And I could go vampire, but in my mind, I was like, I know that makes, in the past, it's made my father uncomfortable. My father was there when I was going through my transformation. My father was there as I was. I haven't talked about this, and I don't know. I should be careful talking about this, but I think this is an appropriate setting. But long story short, I'll say it. I'll say it gently. My father saw me hurt, and as I was dating that woman, that vampire, uh, he was seeing he saw some uh, of the things she did to me, and I did to myself, uh, and there's a few moments where it was clearly unacceptable. And my father, at one point, I remember, I thought it was fine. I thought it was, he got in my face at one point, and I remember him, rightfully so. Um, he was correct, and losing his temper over the. He wasn't losing his temper. He was doing the right thing for his son at the time, given the situation. Uh, but to me at the time, he was losing his temper, and since then, uh, the um, I am very reluctant to go vampire around him. So I was, um, I mean, it's not so much that I don't know if reluctance is the right word, but careful, because I care about his feelings, and what during dinner I wanted to have a good time. I didn't want to, you know. feeling, my feelings are really complicated about yesterday. And you know what? My feelings are complicated about different things, but um, back to the dinner thing. As I was sitting there, I was keenly aware. I could hear. Uh, I, I was hearing "Holy Vampire, Holy Vampire." You know, I was hearing that. Look over there. That's the Holy Vampire. Uh, and you know, I've been in situations before where I didn't want to, how do I say this? Like, even when I don't want to be, when I don't feel, I'm talking about my feelings, when I don't feel, I've been in a situation before where I don't feel like being identified as the holy vampire. But the thing is that, you know, I've trained myself now to where even when I don't feel like it, because I've had a rough day, I know how to act. You know, I just, you know, accept it. And well, there was a time where I was, you know, at dinner where I was sitting there and very very tired and starting to nod off a bit, and you know, you know, a vampire pull out, you know, I could very easily transition into a vampire transformation and feel comfortable. I did that. It was a few moments, less than a minute, less than 30 seconds. I went to a vampire transformation, relaxed, kind of looked around, you know, was enjoying myself, and then quickly went back into alpha male leadership. And at the time, it was a, yeah, for me as a leader, it's like a test, but good. I know those times where it's difficult. Uh, is are the best times, the times where uh, I improve. So I saw it as that, and very very difficult for me personally. Uh, but I did it. I think I did a good job, and you know, I'm proud of that. And you know, we all had a good time. I feel like relationships improved, which kind of was the point. Very easy for me to identify opportunities to improve when I could go up, talk to someone, my family, and improve our relationship in some way. And so that was good. Uh, yeah. Right now it's about 3 o'clock, almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure if I can go back to bed. I had a very interesting dream while I was sleeping. When we got home, I went straight to bed. Yeah. After bringing in some stuff from the car, you know, it's like I beelined right to the bedroom where I sleep, and I was like, man, I took I was smelling really bad, but took a shower first, and then went to bed. And in my dream, it was very interesting, and very clearly had a message to me, that I'd like to talk about. And I'm glad that it was easy for me to not only identify, but, different to so there's different things that I've improved on as far as I've trained myself as far as trying to decode what I'm dreaming about, uh, particularly dreams that I believe are significant. So this dream, um, some of my girlfriends past when I was younger that I was pursuing relationships with. Um, it's like an alternate timeline where instead of me pursuing them, they were pursuing a relationship with me, and how that would have looked like. And in a healthy way. And it was good. It was a good, it was uh, like each relationship uh, dream scenario was, I could identify and from, I say a leadership standpoint, but from a man standpoint, from my wisdom that I have, being able to identify, looks and behaviors. And one interesting thing I do want to point out, um, from my observational standpoint of how I was in the dream, I didn't say anything, but they were talking to me, the girlfriends. And to describe situations, we were in a setting where, one of them that went over to my house at the time, where I was in my family's house. I was younger, staying with my family, and just me and her. And she brought over a really nice bicycle, like a. She like bought this bicycle, or my family bought me this bicycle. She looked very, very healthy, like a healthier, but showed me this wild looking bicycle. Not like wild in the sense that it was really cool. And, I'm looking at it, looking. I can remember looking at the different parts inspecting the bicycle. Standing there. And she was talking to me, and she'd say something in a voice that was conversational, like we were having a conversation, but I didn't say anything, which is what I want to pinpoint. I was having conversations in the dream, but I wasn't speaking. It was just her speaking to me, and then nothing, and then she would hear me say something, and then she would be speaking back to me and explaining, um, you know, and kind of having a back and forth that way. And I think that's very interesting, that I wasn't talking, but I was. And I wasn't talking at all, but she could hear me. And, or should I say I couldn't hear myself? Which is actually, now I think about it, it's significant. I couldn't hear myself. Which makes me think about a lot of different things in regards to being a vampire. There's a couple of vampire personal things about me in regards to not being able to, I use different words. Like I could think of a word like a drawback, a curse, a flaw. Those are kind of words that come to mind, but it's a characteristic that I have. It's a thing that I have. It's I don't see it as that. I've actually transitioned, grown through that. I actually don't see it as any of those things anymore. Just a thing. It's a characteristic. It doesn't have that negative thing to it. But I'm grateful for that. Praise God. Praise God for the help that I've received. And the therapy I've received. But it's not being able to see myself. The old saying about vampires not being able to see the reflection. That story has truth to it. Maybe not to all vampires, perhaps, but to me specifically. I can see myself in a mirror, by the way. And when I do, it has a magical effect. I turn into a particular transformation, typically. Or should I say that, I want to say that I have the ability to resist transforming in front of a mirror, but it is of great difficulty. It's like the magical properties, or it's just a thing that I do. And not being able to see myself accurately, or should I say the inability, or the difference. It's an interesting topic. Particularly not seeing it with a negative, or identifying it now that I don't have that, seeing it as a bad thing. I can see it in a different way. I definitely have some trauma. I'm having a trauma moment right now because my brain is like, well, I used to think this way, but now I'm thinking this way. And I've been a vampire for over 10 years. And, I want to make excuses for myself, but really it is accurate to have to be realistic. That if I have, it takes time to change how I think, or to not so much change how I think, but to once I've made a big change, such as how I see myself, so to speak, uh, to kind of process that after a decade of something being true to me. So that's what it is. Yeah, it's like in the dream, not being able to hear myself, not being able to really hear what I'm saying, to be pursuing, or should I say, well, no, in the dream, I misspoke. So instead of me pursuing the relationship in a kind of having an unhealthy, toxic relationship when I was younger, I saw the good relationship and how it would have been if things were better and things were done appropriately in my eyes. And but there's also a message of that I did not see at first. As I said, I'm not being able to of the thing about that I have viewing myself. And I am feeling overwhelmed right now. I'm having difficulty speaking. So I'm probably gonna get going, but I think that's important. I'm grateful to have had that dream. It helps me. I think that when yeah, I'm gonna try to keep talking. Even though it's difficult for me. Specifically talking about the belief at the time over the last decade and the evolution of a particular belief that of not being able to have a positive relationship with women I care about, or with people I care about, and I knew I had to change or figure out a way. And as I said, as I have grown, developed, that dream was a blessing. I already know. It's not that the dream showed me. Actually, perhaps that's exactly what it did. It was an indicator to me, to myself, that a confirmation that yes, I have the ability, that I have overcome my the things that I didn't think that I could, or I didn't even see that I had an issue with throughout this last decade, and that I've been trying to that I've been constantly struggling with. So, but I still, as I said, I've got to process things, and I do want to make the remark that I was thinking about a couple things, But I do want to make the remark that uh, I have gotten, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I've gotten addicted to the struggle, or fighting the struggle, or trying to overcome uh, the problems that I face in regards to a lot of things, but in particular the development, the struggle of development of myself. And I've said this. I can't think of it right now. When or in what setting I said this, but recently I've said, I think I said it last night to a friend, actually, a buddy of mine. I said, when is it? And when I was speaking to my friend, I was speaking to myself. I told him, I'm venting right now, but when is it gonna be enough? When is it gonna be enough for me to at what point that I'm able to actually do the things that I want to do, as far as struggling right now. I'm struggling. I need to say this. It's just like, when is it gonna be time to and I can't even envision. I can, I could try to see what future, what if possibilities, as far as relationships go, and being with people. But when will that time come? It's what I was really complaining about. Was like, instead of all the bullshit, and I call it bullshit, but it ain't bullshit because there's a reason. There's many reasons. It's complicated, and I spoke about my troubles, but the distance. I want to complain about this. The distance that I've had to negotiate with, to calculate with, for it to be appropriate. Given my way about me, given at different times over the decade, my transition into being the Holy Vampire, known as the Holy Vampire. And before that, when will it be time to close the distance between people? And I take it seriously. I have to. It's personal to me. The amount of wisdom, experience, knowledge of myself and of others, and the ability, the necessity to communicate, and the different reasonings and the excuses and bullshit that I used to, at different stages of development that I've had to develop to keep going, to get to that next step. The next step up a ladder. Because I am a supernatural creature. And I ain't, I say supernatural creature, but I'm a person, a supernatural person. Yeah, that's one side of it. The other side, of the bridge is the other person. And the bridge, I want to say, is God. For me, it's God. It's my belief in God that has developed me. And the people who follow me, the spiritual followers, people who are connected to me, who love me, and who I love, their mentorship has changed my life. The beginning stages of my life, but I'm talking about being a vampire, so in the beginning stages, being a vampire, and being lost, and all that, to the hiding, to the delusions, incredible transformation of the process of development, to going through the stages of addiction, substance use, to going through therapy, to producing videos, to embracing God, my faith, to appreciating life at different points, having a different appreciation for life. And how precious it is, and how fragile it can be. To being a role model, to being an upstanding citizen, to being a man, a leader. To being a leader who leads other leaders. To being one of the most powerful leaders who leads other leaders. To being not only have power, but have discipline. To have a desire, not only an appreciation for discipline, but a hunger for it. To value it as it should be valued for all the good it brings in other people's lives and in my life. I want to say it's a wonder that I survived, but it ain't. Yeah, I want to say it's God's love. Because it is. Alright, y'all. I'm going to get going. I appreciate y'all for watching. Alright, bye.